Hello and welcome, fellow snobs. Today I'd like to talk to you about Earthbound, the independent graphic novel released by Narwhal. He is the creator, writer, artist, letterer, everything but the editing behind this book. So let's talk about the extras that came with your Indiegogo. This was an Indiegogo project. With your Indiegogo purchase, you have the book itself, Earthbound. You've got this little small poster here, prospectus. I guess this is other projects coming out by Narwhal. I don't know what this is. Not sure what the deal is. Learning curve, I guess, for independent comic books. And, of course, your Narwhal Mafia card. And this is a little sticker here. So let's talk about the book itself, though. So let me, before I get into the art and everything, let's talk a little bit about the background to the story. So the story is about two main characters, Spaceman and Julia, who are released onto Earth to capture. They're bounty hunters. They're released on Earth to capture the sirens of violence, which are for females in this area of Earth. There's also another character called WizKid who got on Earth before them a couple years, and he's also wanted for some reason. And the story is not really clear about it. For some reason, these guys, Julian spacemen they're taken out of stasis at the beginning of the book, but they are somehow criminals as well because they're being held, and they're told that if they capture these sirens for the greater glory of the 13th sponsor, which we have no idea what that is, then they'll be released. So that's the whole premise from the book. They're given these rifles, which are a new type of weapon, R type or R prototypes, which when you shoot somebody, they recruit them. So they don't hurt them. They just it makes them become a recruit. So they'll help you out. So that's the idea is for them to recruit the other, whoever recruits to the most of the sirens. The sirens will be released, and the other one, I guess, will not be. And so that's the basis of the story. And I'll try not to go too much into spoilers, but the story ends. This does not finish the story, so we're ending on a cliffhanger. They haven't recruited everybody. We're not sure what's going on. That kind of thing. So if you don't like that, then that might be a problem for you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why I ordered this book, and I'm not quite sure why I did. The art style was, when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's okay. I prefer a more, realistic or detailed art style. Realistic, I guess, is the word. Something like Billy Tucci or Ethan Van Sciver, that kind of thing. More detailed, more realistic. And I kind of thought the story was kind of blah. Like a very typical, some foreign alien type, comes down to Earth and they're secretly hunting some other aliens on Earth. I mean, that's a pretty, standard science fiction trope. Not that exciting. I have to say, however, that I was wrong on both counts. The story is surprisingly gripping. It proceeds in a way that, a reasonable, logical way, but with some twists and turns that make it quite interesting. There's talk about, we're not told what the sirens are. We don't know much detail about Spaceman and Julia or even WizKid. What is the 13th sponsor? There's mention of the 12th sponsor as well. What the heck is going on? It's done in a way that, titillates your interest, and it makes me, at the end of the book, I want more. I want to find out where the story's going. The two main characters are recruiting others. They're doing it in a slightly different way. they're also, it's not sort of straightforward. They're indulging, they're using the, especially Spaceman is using, it kind of takes place all around mostly a high school. The kids, the sirens, excuse me. The sirens are part of, are basically, posing as high school, girls, like 17 or so, that age. And so it kind of revolves around the kids in the high school. So there's that aspect of it. And, Spaceman and Julia are using the kids to, further their own goals. It's kind of interesting how they're doing it. I mean, I could see this as very much a high school type TV show that would focus, that would be made for, a made for teenagers type TV show. That would have that aspect to it, because it's kind of, there's some, humorous aspects to it. There's, certain characters that somewhat fit the tropes in the high school, and I think it would be good that way. So, like I said, I don't know why I initially went with the book. I just thought, I think I kind of threw my hands up and said, hey, I'll give it a try, because I didn't really like the art and I didn't really think the story was that interesting. But the story is very interesting, very compelling, and it is. I hesitate to say, of all the books that I have so far, all the independent comics that I've gotten over the last while, I think it's the most compelling story. Definitely one of the most compelling stories. This and maybe Cyberfrog might be the most compelling stories to me. I'd have to think about that a little more, but it's very compelling, and I don't quite understand why. Now let me talk a bit about the art. So I'm not a fan of this art style, but the art style is it's very evocative of action. And after I see it and I've gone through it, I'll just go through here. Here's an example. You can see that very well. The movement of the characters and the way they move, it appears like an animation is going on. You can really, when you're looking at the drawings, it invokes movement to you. You can almost see that this is, being animated before their eyes. Here's a good example. Look at how this person is running here in the back. Now, normally I wouldn't like the style because, the arms are too skinny. They're not really that proportioned per, a normal human. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's not, exactly. But you could really just see how they're moving. The movement of her when she's looking through the scope. Let's see if I can get some more. I'll just give you a general idea. It's very evocative, and actually, there's been here's the shooting of this guy here, getting him to become part of the group. It's very evocative of movement, and now this is I'm not telling you something that's so surprising. There's been Narwhal himself and other people have spoken about how this his art style is. It's almost like an animation is going on, like it's a frame of animation from a show here. Here's this is a pretty good example here. This is Julia and some other kid who she's going to recruit. They're going to have a swim race. He jumps in. Whoops, it's very evocative of him jumping in here. Him crawling out, her shooting him. Very, very. Feels very much like movement, and as after reading this book, I've learned to appreciate that, and I am now, a convert, a believer. I really like this style now. I can appreciate how different it is from a normal style, and the whole sense of movement that I get through it, and it's really I'm kind of surprised by it and amazed by it. So. I think that before I summarize, I think that perhaps Narwhal is some sort of a genius about this. He did the whole book himself, except for the editing, the art style, everything. It's just very evocative. I didn't order his next project, which is called Foreign Agent, which is the same type of style, which was about two foreign agents doing something in the wilderness. I'm hoping to get another copy of that I'll try to get a copy of that at some point, because after seeing this, I'm like, I really like this style and his writing. It's very good. I think he might be a genius when it comes to art and writing, which is, for a guy who's just put out his first, big comic book. I mean, I'm surprised at how good this is, and how I didn't think that I would like it, and then afterwards I'm engrossed in the story. I want more. I really appreciate the art style. So if you're interested in his stuff, look for. I'm hoping there'll be an Earthbound 2. Finish off the story and look into Foreign Agent and anything else that he does. If you like this, so that's my assessment, my review of Earthbound. Like or subscribe for the channel if you want to hear more, and we'll see you on the next one.